Hi everyone. Okay, so I put out a survey on Facebook about what my next subject matter should be about for my next video. And the hanger lost. We're going to have to leave that one hanging for another time. The subject on miles versus miles per hour, or hours versus miles per hour, again, we're going to have to leave that for another time. Those two got the least amount of votes. Okay. Of the last two subjects that were remaining, dog on the truck versus food, cooking, cooking won out, but only by that much. So the next one will be the dog. In the meantime, not set up to show you actual cooking on the truck. That is a whole camera system that I don't have right now. I'm just functioning off my cell phone. So, but I do want to discuss cooking on the truck because that's what you guys wanted. So let's start with the evolution of my cooking on the truck. When I first started, I was 25 years old. I had the metabolism of a 25-year-old. I had the responsibilities of a teenager. I had no responsibilities. I was living in the truck. And I was making a decent living without having any bills to pay. So wherever I was when I was hungry, whatever hankering hit me, that's what I would go do. It didn't matter. I just was going to eat whatever, and I was eating out all the time. Until my bills started to piling up. I bought a car, that kind of stuff. So I needed to not spend as much money on food, which, by the way, that first process can cost about $1,000 a month or more. So obviously that money could be going better elsewhere. So I decided, okay, I'm going to cut down my costs. I'm going to only eat out once a day instead of all day. And I started to do cereal for breakfast and sandwiches throughout the day until I stopped. And wherever I stopped, I would grab something, depending on how my budget was, whether it was a cheap or whether it was a sit down. It just depended on what I wanted. When I got to a job where I was going home regularly, once every week or every 2 weeks, and I had a refrigerator and a microwave on the truck, then I could prep food and take it with me. I would prep a few pounds of ground meat, either like breakfast sausage or hamburger or ground turkey or something like that. Prep a couple pounds of that, grab a couple pounds of pasta, get that cooked, box that up, and then add some cream soup and some canned vegetables, and that would be dinner instead of eating out. And then I again with my cereal and my sandwiches. If you notice, this is not a healthy way to live, but it was keeping my finances to the point where my food bill was way down. I've tried using an Instapot on the truck, which works. It's just a mess to clean up, and it has to be cleaned up every single time. You can't pile that up for dishes when you go shower. I have used a hot pot, but only to heat water for things like hot chocolate or teas or that kind of stuff. I don't drink coffee, so I don't have a coffee maker, but there's a lot of drivers that do. I just used a hot tea kettle, one that plugs in real quick and easy. See, I've also kept the microwave, very vital, important tool. I had a oven. It's a Road Pro. You plug it into the cigarette lighter and it heats things up. And I used to throw in like a can of like Chef Boyardee pasta or something like that in that when I started the day, and by the time I ended my day, I could just pop open and eat it hot. But when I got the microwave, there was no need for that, and it took up too much space between the two of them, so I let the oven go. Now, a microwave does require an inverter. It is an inverter is a box that plugs up to the batteries in the truck and gives it so that you have wall plugs. There are no microwaves that plug into a cigarette lighter. They just don't have the pull for it. When it comes to microwaves, I've always gotten the smallest possible one. Usually it's one reserved for college kids, dorm room type. because of the amount of wattage that it pulls. The one I've got right now is a 700 watt. There are ones that run up to, if you go way back, 1800 watts. My inverter is only a 1500 watt inverter, and by doing the 700 watts, I can still have like my laptop plugged up. My inverter powers everything that requires a wall plug in the truck. My TV. Now, I can't run the TV and the microwave at the same time. It'll shut things down. But when I run the microwave, it's the only thing running. Anyway, and since COVID has happened, a lot of things have changed, because now I could go home regularly, but with COVID and the shutdowns and the lockdowns, I was the only one working. So I stayed out longer, which meant I couldn't prep as much food. And when things were shut down, I couldn't get into the restaurants because they weren't open unless you were drive-through, and obviously I'm too big for drive-through. And you know, the grocery stores, if you could find parking there, they had the long waits to get in, and that affected the time that I had to get things going. So it was really hard time to get food. I ended up finding a program where it ships food to you, and it actually would ship to the yard, so I didn't even have to go home to pick it up, and it was easy, shelf stable, microwavable, and a lot cheaper than eating out on the road. So basically at this point, that's basically what I'm on, food wise, just because it's providing what my needs. It's easy for me, and it's cheaper than eating out on the road. You guys asked for cooking. I know I didn't actually cook, but again, if you want me to cover any other subjects, go ahead and leave comments, or Facebook messaging me works too, for those of you that I'm on Facebook with. Anyway, I will talk to you next time.